Hey, what is up, guys? Jay Burton here, and today I'm bringing you my Part 2 PvP guide for Frost Mage. This is for patch 6.2.3, and what I'm going to cover is basic attack rotations, burst rotation, CD usage, and then just some general tips to help you play as a better mage. Now, once again, these guides aren't really meant for people who are above 2K rating looking to get to 2700 rating. There really is no guides for them. That's just, you got to keep playing and playing and playing. This is to help people try to get up there in the rating, like to 1800, to 1900, maybe even 2K. I don't know. This is just for people who are struggling looking for tips. Okay, anyways, let's get into it. So, I'm going to talk about the basic DPS rotation outside of burst. Now, it's similar to PvE, whereas we're just going to be spamming Frostbolt when we can to get icicles above our head. So when we use Ice Lance with the Fingers of Frost proc, it'll be even, be nice and bursty. So, assuming you got your polymorph off, and, you don't need a counterspell, you will be casting Frostbolt. You gotta just get Frostbolts going, because this can proc Fingers of Frost, and get icicles above your head. Pretty important. This is how we're going to maintain a little bit of consistent DPS outside of burst phases. The bright side about Frost Mage is our burst phase is technically every minute. What do I mean by that? Okay, so our biggest part of our burst is Ice Nova. More importantly, double Ice Nova. Do not use this off cooldown. You want to save up 2 charges and then just go bam bam. Okay? Trust me, you'll do much better with this. It's damage spikes are more important than consistent DPS in my opinion, at least with a Frost Mage, coupled with CC. Save up your Ice Novas. When you get that full duration polymorph on the healer, oh, that's time to burst, baby. Time to go. So, something to keep in mind is when you use your double Ice Nova, you want to make sure you still got your Comet Storm up and you got your Frozen Orb. You want to use these all together. So, like, the way you'd start it, I'd probably just go and launch a Frozen Orb out there. That'll be working on getting your Fingers of Frost up. It may take a little bit, depending on how far the enemy are. So, while you shoot that, that's when you want to go ahead and go Ice Nova, Comet Storm. Then you should have your Icicle or your Fingers of Frost up. And so then you go Ice Lance, boom. Something to keep in mind though, to really optimize your burst, to get the most out of your burst, what you can do is you should be human, not a gnome like me. I hate recommending people to be humans. I hate doing it. But if you want to be the best you can be, roll a human, get the double DPS trinkets, the one that procs randomly off your spells, and the one you use for on-demand burst. And so what you're going to do is you're going to watch your Incanter's slow buff when it's roughly around 16% going up. And at that time, if you have your proc trinket up, like it activated, you have both of those going on, that lets you know it's time to go. It is time to unleash hell. So then you use your unused trinket. So now you have 3 buffs going on. A high percentage Incanter's flow, your proc trinket, and your use trinket. Now it's time to double Ice Nova. Shit's gonna go down. People will die. Trust me. If you see those variables line up like some crazy ass constellation in the sky, that is a warning saying, hey, go! So just give that a try and try to watch out for those. I'm pretty sure there are add-ons to help you better watch your Incanter's flow buff, so check that out. And there's also some add-ons to help you watch your trinket buffs even easier. I forgot the names, but those are worth looking up. Okay, just to recap, because I was a little sporadic about that. When bursting, you want to make sure you got your buffs up. You should at least have a high Incanter's flow every time you burst. That's one mandatory thing, because if you're at like 4% bursting as opposed to 20%, I mean, I don't even have to describe it. That's a lot less damage. And then, of course, when that trinket procs, that is a huge damage increase. And then just couple that with your unused trinket. Those 3 factors will can't talk. Substantially increase your damage output when you're bursting. And remember, your burst will pretty much consider of casting your Frozen Orb. This will just be there to proc your Ice Lances. I mean, it does decent damage too, but just for Ice Lances. And after you fire that, go ahead and unleash your double Ice Nova, Comet Storm, then double Ice Lances, because you should have 2 stacks of Fingers of Frost. That is your burst, and you can do this every minute. That is the beauty of a Frost Mage. Okay, so that's the overall burst, and the DPS rotation, there's not much to talk about. Like I just said, you're just trying to get Icicles above your head, and then use Ice Lance when you got Fingers of Frost. Other than that, you're filling in with Frostbolt. All the while maintaining great polymorphs, great counter spells, peels free healer, things like that. Okay, I just want to talk about CDs really quick. Mostly defensive, which, as you all know, as a Frost Mage, we have like 2 defensive CDs. One being Ice Block, and one being Cold Snap to reset the Ice Block. That's all we got. I think I mentioned this in my first video, but we want to let the healer call out Ice Block. The reason why is you don't want to use Ice Block after your healer just trinket out of something and then pop some big healing cooldown. That's bad. You want to use Ice Block when your healer can't do anything. That is the proper time to block. Don't just panic block. Panic blocking is what people do in the 1500s. We don't do that higher in the higher than the 1500s. Do not panic block. Now, with that said, let your healer know, hey, I want you to call it when you want me to ice block. You have the responsibility. Now, if you have an incompetent healer, like if it's a real life friend and you just want to do arenas with them, you may have to just make the judgment calls of blocking. Other than that, let them make the decision, okay? Now, so we got that talked about. Typically use Cold Snap 2 right away. You want to block and then just Cold Snap. The reason why is your Ice Block basically becomes related to your Cold Snap cooldown. You can think of it like an Ice Block every 3 minutes. So you want that Cold Snap to just automatically reset the cooldown as soon as possible. So as soon as you block, just Cold Snap. Plus you'll instantly get that heal, so the healer knows I don't have to heal him so much. 22% heal off the Cold Snap, and it can potentially crit. So, use it right when you block. Okay, so now, some general tips here. In my first video, I said I always take Frostjaw. There is an exception when I don't take Frostjaw. When I'm versing a Resto Druid, I go Ring of Frost. What I'm saying is, you need to go Ring of Frost. The reason why. Obviously, Druids can shift out of roots, so Frostjaw is worthless versus a Resto Druid. Secondly, they can shift into cat form or bear form or whatever, and be immune to your polymorph. Okay, that's fine. We can still use this to our advantage, whatever. Just go Ring of Frost, and then start off with your typical water elemental freeze into deep freeze. So now we have the healer frozen. Pretend we have a Resto Druid in front of me and they're frozen. Now we got 2 options. We can either polymorph, or we can either Ring of Frost. Or we can be a dumbass and we'll just cast both of them, because YOLO. The reason why is when you get into the 1600 plus, that's when people really start interrupting the important spells, like Polymorph. They will see a Polymorph going, and they will try to interrupt it. Plus, the Druid on their team will be saying, dudes and bros, I just got deep freeze. They're going to sheep me. Dude's like, oh hey, don't worry, I'll interrupt it. So, as soon as you're casting Polymorph, be mashing down your Ring of Frost button. As soon as you get interrupted, boom, you're already casting Ring of Frost, and that will still tick. It will still freeze them while they're in that deep freeze before they get out. So, what happened is, you still CC'd the Druid, and you made them waste their interrupt. Great combo. Even if the Druid's in bear form, still start off with the Polymorph first, and just immediately follow it up with that Ring of Frost. Because you can still get that, that waste of interrupt. They won't know their teammates in bear form, so they'll still try to counterspell the polymorph, when they should have saved it and used it on the Ring of Frost. Okay, I think I might have worded that weird. Just to clarify, when versing Resto Druids, take Ring of Frost instead of Frostjaw. Do your typical deep freeze, and then act like you're going to sheep them. Go ahead and let the spell go through. If it does go through, and you do get the sheep off because they're in caster form, well hey, great. If you don't get it off because they used an interrupt, okay, great. Just follow it up with your Ring of Frost instantly. You'll have plenty of time to do that. If the Druid's in bear form, just still follow it up with the Ring of Frost. I just say I want to make a big point on that because Resto Druids can be rough on mages if they don't really know how to get CCs off. Ring of Frost helps with that so much. Okay, I think I spent enough time on that. I apologize. A little few tips on survivability. As a mage, we only have ice block, and we got a few things like blazing speed. Make sure you use blazing speed defensively. It's got a 25-second cooldown. That may not sound like that long, but that's a long cooldown. You don't want a melee sitting on you with no blazing speed and no blink up. That's almost guaranteed ice block situation. You're in a bad spot with that. So try to keep your blazing speed defensively. Now, I know there are times when you have to use it offensively. You're about to secure that kill. You know you can go 100%, 150% faster and you'll catch them. Okay. Yeah, you can do that every now and then, but what if you don't get the kill? Bad things can happen. Use this defensively. We don't have many defensives, so we can't really just waste them. Another thing, ice block. Or not ice block, sorry, blink. Don't waste blink. Don't just blink because you want to get to somebody. Don't do that. And also, let's say if you're versing a Death Knight and he's on you, don't blink away if his Death Grip is on cooldown, or off cooldown. He will just Death Grip you right back, and you're done. Now you could Blazing Speed, but I would recommend using Blazing Speed first. Let him Death Grip you, then blink away. That way, if he stuns you when you start running away the second time, you have blink to get out of it. Whereas, let's say you use blink to get away from him first, he Death Grips you, you Blazing Speed to get away, then he asphyxiates, stuns you. You can't get away because you're stunned. So if you reverse the order, use Blazing Speed to make him use his Death Grip, then use Blink to get out of the asphyxiate stun. You're gone. That's how you handle versing a DK and getting away. Blazing Speed first, then Blink. Now with the Warrior, just wait till he uses his charge. Use your Blazing Speed to help make him want to use his charge. Then you blink away. You're doing great. You just got to make sure you use your blinks correctly. Don't use your blinks before they're gap closers. Wait till after. I think that's all I want to talk about. If I remember anything else, I think I'm eventually going to make a part 3 video including gameplay, but I'll include any extra stuff I forgot in that video. I know I did a little bit of ranting in this video, and I apologize, guys, but I felt like some stuff just had to be emphasized. Okay, great. If you enjoyed the video, please drop a subscribe. I'll be making lots of videos, especially when Legion comes. I'm going to be maining every class and making videos on every spec in PvP. Alright, see you guys, and stay frosty.